Hello, James R. Lee here with the Fetro team of Real Broker LLC, and I just wanted to take some time today to talk to you about the Buyer's Representation Agreement short form. Uh, we do have two forms. We have a long form and a short form, and a lot of people are like, "Why do we have both?" And there's a good reason for that. A couple good reasons. First of all, um, part of the lawsuit from last year, the settlement from NAR, National Association of Realtors, part of that settlement was that we are required to use a buyer's representation agreement anytime we show houses to a client. And um, also, the state of Texas is actually implementing that requirement this year, at the end of this year or early next year as well. So you will be required to sign a buyer's representation agreement before you can go see any houses with a realtor. Um, a lot of people are like, well, I don't know if that's the right person. I don't know. I want to get to know them first, and so the way I've usually done this in the past, because I've used a buyer's representation agreement my entire real estate career, but the way that I do that is I sit down with them at the beginning and kind of go over things. And give them a little bit about the process, but also in the past, I've shown them several houses before I asked them to sign a buyer's representation agreement, and that gave them the opportunity to get to know me and see what I'm doing and how I'm providing for them and that kind of thing. But that's not an option anymore. So I still, at the beginning now, I want to sit down with them and kind of go over the paperwork and go over what the process is, what we're going to do, who I am, tell them a little bit about myself and my team. And then also, but I will need them to sign a buyer's representation agreement before we go see any houses. And not everybody's comfortable right off the bat. And so we may need to use the short form. And the benefits of the short form, as you'll see as we go over that, is that it's pretty concise. And I can narrow it down to a specific house, a specific day, a specific hour. And so just to be able to make it as easy for them to get to know me as possible. So we can do it on individual houses, or we can do it on an individual day until they get comfortable with me, and then we'll sign the long form, which goes into a little bit more detail and provides a little bit more information. So here is the Texas Realtors uh, buyer's rep agreement short form. So as we mentioned, this is the Texas Realtors Residential Buyer Tenant Representation Agreement short form. And hopefully you just watched my video about the long form, and so you're familiar with that. We are going to go through the whole thing here and kind of get you a basic understanding of it. And again, this one gives me the opportunity to be more specific on timing and just make it easier for us as we talk through the process to cover me from a legal standpoint, but also to make sure that we have the time to get comfortable with each other and make sure that I'm the right buyer's rep for you. So, pretty much the same form. It's just more condensed. The other one, I believe, is 8 pages long, and this one is only one. So, but as you can see on here at the top, we have the parties again, where we would put your name. Right now, I have John Doe Buyer there. And then as the broker, Real Broker LLC of the Fetro Realty team is the broker, and I'm the representative of the Fetro team and Real Broker LLC that will be representing you. So again, appointment, client appoints broker as client's real estate agent subject to the terms of this agreement. Definitions are pretty much the same as the other one. In this agreement, acquire means to purchase or lease a property. Market area means that the area in the sales in the state of Texas specific to as follows. We want to be as specific as possible, but we don't want to hinder your ability to look either. So we could do Collin County, or we could do McKinney specifically to the city. Or we can put multiple cities in there if you want to narrow it down that way. So it's completely up to you on how we want to define that. And then the term this agreement begins on, and that would be the day that we're talking about that. And it would end, and I typically put it about 6 months. Just it doesn't take that long for us to find you a house, but that covers us, for any uh, amount of time that we might have, an extended closing, or if you need to sell a house before we buy, it just covers a lot of things. But we'll talk about that and put down the information that you want to put down. Again, here I can get really specific, like the definition. I could put a specific a house on there. So if you just want to look at one house with me until you get to know me, we can put a specific house on there. We can put just today's date. We can even get it down to a specific, hour to be able to see one house. So whatever makes you comfortable, but gives us the opportunity to make sure that we're covered legally, but at the same time that we're able to make you comfortable in the process as well. So broker obligations: broker must comply with the minimum duties as required by law. Broker may represent other prospective buyers or tenants who may seek to acquire the same properties as the client. And then we're putting in here full services. I don't do just a showing service, and I don't charge for that either. So a lot of people will put the second box of showing service, and they'll charge a specific fee to see a house. My goal is to make you a client for life, and so I'm going to provide you full services for that house or for that time frame, whatever it is, so that you will be comfortable with me, because my goal is to be your long-term real estate resource. And I want that to be for life. So I don't charge for you to go look at houses, but we do have to do the paperwork associated with it. So client obligations: a client must work exclusively through broker in acquiring property in the market area and inform other brokers, sales agents, sellers, and landlords that the broker exclusively represents client for the purpose of acquiring property in the market area, and refer all such persons to the broker, me. That's the same information that's in the long form. Basically, it says that for this house or for this time period, I represent you, and anything that comes up in that the communication will flow through me, and we'll make sure that everything's covered. Again, broker's compensation in line 7 is fully negotiable. My fee that I charge is 3% of the sales price for a purchase or a sale, and then if we're going to do a lease, it's 50% of 1 month's lease. Again, that's all negotiable, but that's me with all of my experience and abilities and all of the things that I do. We can negotiate a lower rate, but there will be some things that I won't be able to do for you in that situation. And so, I want to do what's right for you, but I also have to protect me and feed my family and take care of my team and my broker. And so there's a lot that's involved in there. But that covers everything that I would do for you. So from a marketing standpoint, from a communication standpoint, from driving, it just covers everything. So, but again, that is negotiable. But in a negotiation, obviously that's my 100% value. And then if we decrease that, there's some things that I would not be able to do for you based off of the amount that we agree to. So it's earned and payable when we close, or when there's a breach of the contract. Source of the payment: the broker may receive compensation from the seller, landlord, or other agents first. So we always try to get the seller or landlord to agree to pay my fee, so that you don't have to worry about that. But in the event that they're not willing to pay it, or they're only willing to pay part of it, then the remainder would be your responsibility in there. And we'll talk through that as what that looks like, and as we go through the process as well. So source of the payment: broker may receive compensation from the seller. We just just talked about that. Sorry. Escrow authorization: client authorizes and broker may instruct any escrow or closing agent to collect and disperse the broker all amounts payable to the broker. And we typically work on a purchase or a sell with a title company, and they have an escrow officer, and all funds are sent to the title company, and then they distribute those at closing as we go through that. So that's pretty standard. Intermediary. So intermediary: client does or does not authorize the broker to act as an intermediary. Well, what that looks like is I work for Real Broker LLC, and if we found a house that you were interested in, and that agent happened to work for Real Broker LLC as well, then we would be in an intermediary status, because we're both working for the same real broker, but we're completely separate. No information is sent across the communication lines unless it's approved by the client, so either the buyer or the seller. So I would not share any information with the other agent unless you told me that I could share it, or that I needed to share it, or if it's legally required. But the other thing to that is, it's an intermediary with appointments, which means that they are separate agents. So you can have an intermediary status where me as the agent represented both sides. But what happens is that hamstrings me. It takes away my ability to provide advice and consultation to either party. So it's really just like me kind of checking the boxes and doing things like that, but I can't provide any advice in that type of situation. But we don't do that in our team, and our broker doesn't do that either, unless it was like a family member or something like that, where we have the ability to do that. But intermediary status in this situation is because we are the same brokerage, but we're completely separate. So it's intermediary with appointments, and they are completely separate. But that's what that's explaining. And then broker compensation is not set by law, nor fixed, controlled, or recommended by the Association of Realtors or MLS. Broker compensation is fully negotiable. Broker is prohibited from receiving compensation from broker services for any source that that exceeds the amount stated in this agreement. This is a legally binding agreement. Read it carefully. If you do not understand the effect of the agreement, consult an attorney before signing. The parties authorized to use this electronic signature for the signing of the agreement. And then we would have the signatures. Basically, what that's saying is that if we agree to the 3%, then I cannot receive any addition to that. So if a seller was offering, a percentage point as an incentive to get people to come see the house, if we were going to allow that, then we would have to amend this agreement to show that it was the increase above that, what we had agreed to before. Same thing with the new construction, where they're offering a realtor incentive. That would have to be brought to you and talked about, and then we would have to make an amendment to our agreement to account for the bonus or the incentive that the builder is offering. So, but as you can see, this document's much shorter than the long form, but it covers the same information. It's just as legally binding, but it does give us a little bit more flexibility to be able to do it for a specific house or a specific time frame. So gives us the opportunity to be able to let you get to know me and see if I'm going to be a good fit for you. And then once we're comfortable, then we would sign the full long form document to be able to write any offers or anything like that. But so that's about it. But again, if you have any questions about that document, feel free to reach out to me. You can reach me on my cell phone at 405-808-6876. And if you have any specific topics that you want me to cover in this YouTube channel, feel free to message me or give me a call or text me or email me. But thanks for listening, and hope you subscribe for more videos.